I really don't know whether to laugh or cry at this point. That was some of the worst situational hitting you will see from a playoff team. So let's talk about it all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen. Every single day, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day, including frustrating days like this one. The Tigers will play Game 3 today as you listen to this on Thursday afternoon in Cleveland to determine who will go on to face the Seattle Mariners in the ALDS. That is because after the Tigers won Game 1 on the back of a dominant performance by Tarek Skubal, they lose Game 2 by a score of 6-1. As I said, tying the series, winner take all on Thursday. First thought is that was absolutely horrific. That was it is hard for me to put into words how disgusting that was. It is so bad. I've said this a few times in my 4 years, a little over 4 years hosting this show now, where sometimes things go so well that it's hard to even analyze because it's like, okay, well, what is there to really say? Every single person hit a home run or whatever, right? Whatever theoretical land that is. We had a few of those, I guess, in the first half of the season. There's also the flip side of that coin where it's hard to analyze because it is so awful that there's not even anything really else to say. Like, Mize wasn't great. We'll talk about him. The bullpen was good until it wasn't, and eventually it wasn't. We'll talk about that. Like, sure, whatever. Like, who cares? How on earth does not only a Major League Baseball team, a postseason Major League Baseball team produce that poorly with runners in scoring position for 18 innings? And I think that is the part that's the hardest thing to analyze, right? They got on base. Dude, it wasn't like they went up there and got no hit. They had 2 runners on base or more in over half of the innings of this baseball game. They have 13 base runners. So, like, you look at the box score, if you just ignore the runs scored and just look at each individual player's box score, you're like, all right, pretty much everybody got on base. So what is there to say? What is there to say? They stink in even remotely high leverage situations. They are horrid. And they have been for months now. The entire second half, obviously September, that's been even more magnified. So what went wrong? Obviously, we'll just go right into it. The performance with runners in scoring position by the offense. They went 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position in this baseball game. The Tigers are now 2-23 with runners in scoring position in 2 games in the postseason. That's a 2-game sample size. They have had 23 runners in scoring position in 18 innings. That's over 1 an inning. Do you understand how mind-boggling this is? Because they are getting on base. They have had a runner on average over 2 games. A runner has been past first base over once an inning. They have 1 bleeping earned run in those 2 games combined. This is unfathomable. They left multiple runners on base in over half of the innings in this game. Not just one, multiple. They ended an inning with multiple guys on base in over half of the innings in this ballgame. And it's not unbelievable if you've watched this team over the last month. But as a fan of baseball and someone who just watches hundreds of hours of baseball around the league, different leagues, every summer, dating back to most of my life, it truly is unreal how bad this team has been over the last 6 to 8 weeks with runners in scoring position. This team just loves doing historic stuff that we haven't seen before. And unfortunately, that has yet to change. It's also frustrating because, and I promise you, if you are a Cleveland fan listening to this, I am not saying this from an ivory tower or like a we're better than you or you don't deserve to be here. This team, the Tigers, have done nothing but shoot themselves in the foot for 2 months now, okay? The Guardians deserved to win the division more than the Tigers, and they deserve to win this baseball game more than the Tigers. But this team that you are going up against, that you are allergic to beating, they cannot beat the Cleveland Guardians in a meaningful game. They can't. They were up 2-1 in a race to 3 in last year's ALDS. They just had to win 2 games against them down the stretch in the final, 6 games of the season. In the final, 12 games? They played the Cleveland 6 times. They lost 5. It doesn't, for a decade now, it just doesn't matter. They cannot beat Cleveland. They can't. And they're not world beaters. That's this isn't you're going up against the Dodgers and you can't beat the Dodgers. Okay, a lot of teams can't beat the Dodgers. This is a horrible offensive team in Cleveland that you are facing that had excellent, historically good pitching a year ago, and now has a lot less of that pitching this year and similar offensive production. It's still not very good. It's definitely worse than last year, actually, now that I think about it. When Hunter Gaddis steps on the mound, he should just start games only against the Tigers. He would throw perfect games in 80 pitches. This guy has a career 3.5 ERA. His ERA this season is over 3. His K rate is barely above league average. His walk rate is league average. He had an outlier season a year ago where he had a 1.7. His career ERA is 3.5, dude. When he enters the game, the Tigers see Mariano Rivera in his prime. Tim Herron has an ERA of about 5 this season. Jacob Junis, career ERA of about 4. It's over 4. The last 3 years have been under 4. Bybee dominates you every single time he is on the mound. He has a 4.24 ERA this season. And I know that in September, he has made adjustments. I understand that. I'm not ignorant to the changes that he has made, and he's been fantastic all month. But do you see my point? This is not like you're going up against the 95 Braves pitching staff. It is just mind-boggling that the Detroit Tigers cannot figure out this Cleveland team that for all intensive purposes is remarkably average in a lot of aspects. So what does that say about your team? That you are probably also remarkably average, if not just worse than that, in a lot of areas. Again, none of that is slander against Cleveland. I've said for 4 years now that they are the team to beat if you want to win the American League Central. Even when Minnesota was good, I still was more scared of Cleveland, right? They run a great organization that develops talent really well, and that's how they're able to sustain the success year over year without spending any money. But there is no reason that this Tigers team should be losing so consistently to that Guardians team for years now. There's no reason for it. 15 runners left on base, 21 lob in 2 games. Let's talk about some individual performances. We will do that right after this. First, though, got to talk to you about our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here. FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed the live lines during games. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better for you. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, as always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day, and we will, of course, be back tomorrow recapping whatever happens in the series finale, the winner-take-all Game 3 that will be played on Thursday afternoon in Cleveland. Talking about this Game 2, 6-1 loss by your Detroit Tigers. Riley Greene, everyone's focused on the pinch hit decision because obviously it didn't work. I have so many different thoughts on this. So first off, Jahmai Jones was thrown ball 4, okay, and the ump absolutely screwed him. Now, that's not the reason they lost. I'm not complaining and saying, if the ump, whatever. No, the Tigers went 1 for 15 with RISP. They dug their own grave, okay? This is their own fault. Nobody else's, umpires included, okay? Great. That being said, in that moment, Jahmai Jones did take, objectively ball 4, and it got called a strike. But that happens. That's baseball. That's, again, not the reason we lost. I have been saying this for months now in a lot of different areas for this team, and I think that it reigns true in this moment as well. This is the bed you made, and you have to lay in it. And specifically, that could be applied toward pretty much everybody on this roster outside of maybe Tarek Skubal at this point. But in this moment, that's directed toward Riley Greene. He has not hit lefties really all season, but especially not in the second half. He has been a strikeout machine. He has over 200 strikeouts on the season. He has been brutal in high leverage situations for the entire second half. And it's the 7th inning. So, there's a chance that you take him out. You don't even necessarily take the bat out of his hands for another at-bat later in the ballgame. Now, it wasn't. Obviously, that's not true. But in the moment, that's how you have to think of things, right? A lefty was on the mound. You desperately just needed a ball in play. And you had a runner on third base. I would have let Riley Greene hit. All of those things considered, I would have let him hit. Now, that's a lot easier to say for me right now from my desk here after seeing the result, right? It's not fair of me to just parade that around like it's some, genius thing because, again, of hindsight. But I would have let him hit in that moment. That being said, the result of and the reasoning of why Hinch did it is the result of the last 2 months of Riley Greene's performance. Given the situation, I can at least see the logic, right? Especially with, again, Jahmai Jones has been maybe this team's best hitter in the month of September. So, I think that this is a result of his own performance more than it is anything else. I also think that it's one situation in one inning of a game where the Detroit Tigers left 15 runners on base. You can disagree with everything I just said in either direction. You're stupid for thinking that Riley Greene, should have been pinch hit here, or, all those reasons are stupid. He should have, whatever. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. That's fine. There were 13 other at-bats in this baseball game that the Tigers took with runners in scoring position that they failed at. I guess 12 that they failed at. 13 other total, because Javi did have the one. Parker Meadows, brutal at-bats in the leadoff spot. Gleyber Torres continues to swing an absolute noodle bat and pretty much only goes up there with the intent of walking. He stares at like 5 strikes a game, and just is trying to like foul off pitches until he gets a walk, it seems like. Genuinely, that's what his at-bats look like to me. He's just trying to foul off everything and make super weak contact until he either guesses right and can, turn on a ball for like the 3rd time this calendar year, or he can draw a walk. Torkelson, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, is popping up again. Did have a walk and a HBP, was hit by a pitch there, obviously late, but like whatever. Winston Perez continues to be absolutely frigid at the plate. He has like 3 hits in his last 30 at-bats or something ridiculous. So, like, what do? You don't do anything. Like, you just keep trying to bang your head. You literally, it's the definition of insanity, but it's your only option. You can't make a move during the postseason. You're not going to trade anybody. You're not signing someone. You're also, it's not like your bench, or you want to bat Trey Sweeney instead of like some of these guys. Like, again, this is your bed. You have to lie in it. Pitching was good until it wasn't. Casey Mize, 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and the home run against. His ERA, obviously 1 run, 3 innings, so his ERA is 3 in the postseason. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like this performance at all, and I praise AJ in this instance for getting him out of the game early, because I think it would have gotten uglier way sooner than it did. He was just spraying and praying, man. He had 0 command of his fastball. He had no clue where that pitch was going. The splitter got a couple of whiffs on it, but even then, like he got a couple of whiffs on the splitter low, and then the only time the fastball was getting strikes was when he was just tunneling it at the bottom of the zone and got a couple of called strike fastballs. Like he in general, this was just not a great performance whatsoever. He just didn't have it. Obviously, this loss is not on Casey Mize's shoulders. I'm just pointing out that he didn't have a very good performance either. This is 100% on the offense. Do not get anything else the rest of the episode twisted. Troy Melton just got super fastball heavy. I think he got super predictable. And I understand the logic of like, if you want to get beat, you want to get beat with your best pitch. He can throw in a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, tip of the cap. If the 8-hitter with a, 215 average that has like 5 homers in the entire calendar year goes yard on you, then so be it. And that's what happened. He needs to develop more secondary stuff, though. I don't say what I said about the fastball in terms of like, oh, there's just nothing you can do about it. No, like he could have been better, obviously. This team, some people were questioning the decision to bring Melton in. I think that's totally hindsight. Again, I've reiterated this all second half. You can't throw Veston Finnegan literally every inning of relief work for just the entire series, man. Like, I don't know what else. This bullpen is paper thin. It has been for 3 months now. Brant Herter, I think, the definition of just got way too predictable up there. I mean, just was sweeper low and away, sweeper low and away, sleeper low, like just over and over and over and over again. And that's, even if it's not a major league hitter with very good numbers, it's still a major league hitter. Eventually, he's just going to sit on that pitch and turn on it. And that's what Naylor did. So tip of the cap there, I guess, too. What went right? Well, I think the most frustrating part of this game, obviously, again, the runners in scoring position, but they got runners on base. And like, that is why what went right is such a big just slap in the face. It's like when somebody compliments you and is like, oh, wow, like, I wish I had the confidence to, like wear something like you do in public. It's like, actually not thank you, because I originally was pleased with it and then realized that was actually a slap in the face. That's what this offense is. That is the analogy for it. They got on base 13 times in 9 innings. They had 7 hits and 6 walks, and they scored 1 time. So, I don't care that they got on base. McKinstry had a couple of walks. Dingler had a couple of walks. Bybee didn't even go 5 innings. They consistently got on base all game, which is really good, and then immediately forgot how to hit every single time a runner got past first base, which is obviously very bad. Tip of the cap to Javi. I guess the only person in this series that is, really hitting, period, but certainly hitting with runners in scoring position. He's batting .571 in 2 games total, had the only RBI in this ball game. So shout out playoff Javi, I guess. Okay. Want to talk about a couple more relievers that actually did do well. Then we'll talk stuff and preview this season series finale. Well, maybe Freudian there. We'll do that right after this. Got to talk to you all about our friends over at Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football season. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley's rushing for a touchdown maybe. And all of a sudden, you are in the game. It's quick. It's easy. You can make your lineup in under a minute, and they just added stacks. So if I want to ride a player, I can select their passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup card. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Also got to talk to you all about our friends over at Game Time. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team go 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position in person, but actually getting tickets, well, that's also a tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes all the fun out of it, and that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. So you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is actually the price you pay. The app is super simple. You know your total up front. There's no surprise fees at checkout. So download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, everybody, welcome back. Your third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate you all for tuning in, as always. Talking about what went right in this game, I guess. Not that anybody really wants to hear that, but to put a bow on it, I do think that Kyle Finnegan looked great. 1 2/3 of no-hit ball, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Big outs at the time, right? Big outs. Big, I guess, big bats, relative to the rest of the Guardians lineup. Those were big moments. And yeah, he came through with those. I think Tyler Holton was probably the star of the show on the mound, though. He looked fantastic. He would have been probably my player of the game had the Tigers actually hit the ball at any point with a runner in scoring position. But 2 1/3, 1 hit, no walks, no runs, 1 strikeout. He has been so fantastic lately. He's only given up 1 earned run in his last 2 or 3 weeks of work now. And yeah, again, I mean, you want to nitpick, it's incredibly thin. The bullpen, that is incredibly thin. And so you already had Holton go, and that's why late in the game you had to go to Brant Herter, who literally got demoted in the second half of the season because you literally don't have any other lefties in your bullpen. So get some lefties this offseason whenever that happens. Stuff. I mean, Zach McKinstry, the call there. You know, I don't think there was enough to overturn it, but who cares? That's not really important. Dylan Dingler has to run, dude. The bird's eye view of that play is just the most infuriating replay of the day. He rounds third hard, and then he slows up. And then when he realizes there's a plays at third, he tries to speed up again. And he is obviously not out, but the tag on McKinstry is applied about half a step before Dingler hits home plate. If he just runs that at full speed, then you're talking about a lead for the Tigers in that moment. So, yeah, like this team just does itself zero favors, dog. Like that's really what it comes down to. This was one of the most infuriating Tigers games I have watched in quite some time, man. And you know, it's obviously different when you have expectations or when you're playing in the postseason, right? I've seen worse performances. I've seen hundreds of worse performances. I've been alive for this team losing 119 games and 114 games in separate occasions. You know, separated by 15 years. So, like, obviously, we've seen far worse. But in terms of pure frustration, this is up there with the best of them. Some of those 2013 playoff games in Boston probably rival it. Other stuff, Colt Keith took some reps at the field. Obviously can't come back mid-series, so that, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? If you lose on Thursday, then that's just a non-storyline, and he starts preparing for the spring. I think that's pretty much it, man. Like, please do not lose this series after winning game one. That would be a microcosm of this season, truly. Like, you got to understand, the last time that a wild card round team won game one and lost the series, the only time that's happened was the 2020 season, which is the first time they had the wild card round. Then they didn't do that in 2021 in the new CBA, in the current CBA, which is what, 2022? In this current active playoff structure, no team has won game one and then lost the series. And now your back is against the wall. So please don't do that. Not that me saying please means anything. Yeah, like again, like the frustrating part is it's one thing. The pitching gave up one run through 7 1/3 innings pitch, and then obviously again the home runs happen, it gets out of hand. But like the bullpen is used differently, you pitch differently in that moment if you have a lead. The pitching has clearly not been the problem this series, is my point. The problem is you are 2 for 23 with runners in scoring position and have one earned run in 2 full baseball games, dude. Get this monkey off your back. Please beat the Cleveland Guardians, please. I know some people in this fan base just want it to be over. They're like, please just get me to the offseason. Just end this suffering that has been the last 6 weeks. And I completely get it, okay? I wouldn't pick either of these teams to, like, beat Seattle, right? But just win a playoff series against Cleveland. Please just prove that you can actually defeat this baseball team in a game or series that even remotely matters. Because, like, I was in driver's ed the last time that happened. It's going to be Jack Flaherty against Slade Ciccone. Like, this is absurd, right? Like, this is my point exactly. You are going to be the favorite in this game, most likely. Like, Ciccone has an ERA over 5 in his career and can't strike anyone out. His chase numbers are some of the worst in baseball. His whiff rate is very low. His strikeout rate is low. Flaherty has been super inconsistent, but has pitched a lot of big games for you over the last 2 years and has the ability to get strikeouts. If you get the Flaherty that does well, you're going to be in the driver's seat despite being on the road and despite the fashion in which you lost game 2. It is truly remarkable at this point. Like, it is legitimately almost impressive what this last month and a half of baseball has been for this team. If they lose, it would be the most deserved fitting, nothing to do with Cleveland and like, magic, whatever. This is your own fault. Win this game, please. Thank you for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We will, of course, be back tomorrow recapping the game no matter what happens. After you check this out, make sure you check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. You can go to Locked On MLB's YouTube channel and get those literally every night the rest of the season. Okay, well, Godspeed. We'll see each other tomorrow. I'll be with you through it all. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch y'all then, baby. Go Tigers.